I'm going to call the case. We have the petition 22/046. The petitioner is 1 South 410 Summit Avenue. Presumably that's an LLC or corporation or something. We have a request for rezoning from O office to OR office research, a conditional use for a self-storage facility, variation to reduce the required lot size for an OR district from 2.5 acres to approximately 2.31 acres, variation to reduce the required lot width for an OR district lot from 250 feet to approximately 165 feet, variation to reduce the front east setback from required 60 feet to approximately 53.32 feet, variation to reduce the interior side north setback from required 20 feet to approximately 19.98 feet, variation to reduce the interior side south setback from 20 feet to approximately 10 feet, variation to increase the FAR from 0.35 to 0.38. It's a York Township case, 2.31 acre site serviced by well and sewer. The matter was published in the Daily Herald on September 28th. I have no comments or objections from several of the county departments, but I have objections filed by York Township and objections filed in the form of a resolution by the city of Oak Brook Terrace. It's 5 after 6. The petitioner is not present, or neither of you guys are with the petitioner, right? I have 2 members of the public, and in order to, I also have, the only exhibit that I understand here is the survey, so I'll mark that as petitioner's exhibit number 1. We do have some other documents that have been submitted, but I'm not going to mark them yet because I don't know what's intended. Some of them seem superfluous to me. We'll see when the petitioner gets here, if the petitioner arrives. I'll allow the 2 gentlemen from the public to make any statement or ask any questions if you like, or you can wait for the petitioner's presentation and then we'll take your comments later. Do either of you want to comment now? You want to wait? You want to wait? Who? Can I ask who you are?
My name is John Benz. I'm the property manager for adjacent property to the north.
Okay.
Terrace Executive Center, 38,000 square foot, having the office complex.
Okay. All right. And you, sir?
My name is James McCall. I'm the Oak Brook Terrace.
Okay.
Filed in the zoning protest. Yesterday.
Is it the resolution?
It's a resolution that Oak Brook Terrace passed on Tuesday, October the 11th.
We have that in our documents.
Okay, thank you. And I also there's an affidavit attached to that as well, stating that the city has sent it up to the petitioner by mail. I also sent an email yesterday to Mr. Fox.
To Mr. Who?
Mr. Fox.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Who is Mr. Fox, by the way?
Certainly.
Okay.
But that was the name I had.
Yeah, I see that in the file as well. All right. Well, I guess we'll go off the record for a few minutes. And sir, there's a gentleman walking in the room. Are you the petitioner?
I am. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Well, you're up at bat. I've already called the case and announced what the request is. So I've also marked the survey as petitioner's exhibit number 1. I don't know what the rest of this stuff is. Can you tell? Let's start with having you. Why don't all 3 of you be sworn in?
I've got some handouts I'd like to provide.
Just hold on. Let's have everybody sworn in.
Would you raise your right hands, please? You do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give at this cause and out hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Okay, can you identify yourself, sir?
My name is Kevin Cox. I'm a principal at Forefront Properties. We're the developer of the property. We're the current owner of the property. And we also own the property immediate to the south. It's a 90,000 square foot office. It's a 90, we're also the owner of the office building to the south. It's a 90,000 square foot office building.
Who is 1 South 410 Summit?
That's a vacant parcel of land.
Well, I have the petitioner indicated as 1 South 410 Summit Avenue.
That's the owner of the property is Summit Oaks Venture LLC, which is the owner of the property just to the south.
All right,
We are the
is
petitioners.
our file clean with respect to whether he's authorized to speak?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you're sworn in, sir. If you have some materials to hand out, put them right there and pass them down. What do you want to do about it? What is all this stuff that I have in front of me, presumably presented by you? And which of these is the site plan, which would be exhibit 2? Sir, of the stuff that we have been presented,
Yes,
where is the site plan?
the site, there are 2 packets.
I don't want packets. I want the site plan. Which
Yes.
of these is the site plan?
The site plan, as you're looking at our engineering documents. The site plan would be further back as I'm looking at what you've got there in front of you.
Yeah, but it doesn't help me identify which of these is exhibit 2.
In the packet that you have in front of you, the first page is an overview of the site.
Package that you just handed out or the package that you presented?
The one that we presented with our submission, the one that you have in your hand. That first page is an overview of the site. The second page is the survey, the topo survey for the site, which is page you have up there, because you've got double-sided copies, is the
I've got paving plan. I don't know if I need all this. Geometric paving plan, a proposed utility plan. Another proposed utility plan, proposed grading and drawing. But I need a site plan. Oh, I'm gonna see that. On the back of this, no. Yeah. Is this geometric and paving plan, which shows site data? Is that supposed to be the site plan?
no, you should have in your submission.
Why don't you show me what I have here? Fish out the site plan.
This sheet here. This is the back page.
That's not a site plan.
This site plan right here, which is-
I need to say, you know what, I'm not gonna mark any of these. Provide us with a proper site plan.
Section here is the also.
I'm not gonna take that as an overall site plan, sir. That's a colored sketch. So could you please provide us with a site plan as exhibit 2? And then the rest of the stuff is not part of the record. If you refer to it in your testimony, offer it as an exhibit at the time that you refer. I don't know what these pictures are supposed to be. And this narrative, is this a summary of the testimony that you're going to give?
Yes,
You want to offer that? I'll take that as group exhibit 3. Wait a minute, it's only one document, it's a narrative, so I'll take it as petitioner's exhibit 3.
So the site plan that you can refer to is sheet number C 2.0, and I'll come over there.
This right here? Well, that's what this is the one that I asked you. Okay.
There are four buildings. A building on the north, 2 buildings in the center, and a building to the south.
Are they shown on this?
They are, it says proposed building.
I only see 2. Is the second side supposed to be part?
At the top of the C 2.0 is proposed building 1, 2, 3.
C2
And proposed building 4.
2.1. You know what? Would you redo this? I'll take this now. It's a 2-page document that I'll show as the site plan, but provide us a proper site plan if this matter proceeds. All right, now the rest, again, if you refer to these other documents because it's important to your testimony, offer each individual document as an exhibit at the time that you make the testimony. Now, why don't you go ahead with your presentation?
What I've handed to you in addition this evening is a rendering of the site plan, which shows 4 buildings, single story, self-storage facility.
So you want to make that, is that this colored
Yes,
sketch?
that is a 3D rendering of the site plan.
Well, it's not particularly instructive, but it's your case, so if you want to make this exhibit 4, it's in.
The site plan is referenced as a part of our architectural package in your package, which is referenced on the building key plan. And that's broken down in the corresponding 2 pages of that. But I'll continue. I would like to address the variation request related to our proposed development.
How about telling us what you propose first?
I will do that. The proposed site development is approximately 2.3 acres. It's located at 1 South 410 Summit Avenue in Oak Brook Terrace. The site is 165 feet wide and 620 feet deep. The site is situated between a 3-story office building on the south, a single-story office flex building on the north, and a multifamily development to the west. The site was previously a single-family home and detached garage built in the 50s. Our ownership group purchased the site 3 years ago with the intention of land banking the parcel for additional parking, office parking. As we own and manage the 90,000 square foot office building immediately to the south of the site. A little over a year ago, the home was demolished and the site was cleared. Post-COVID, the thought of developing additional office parking is long gone. We have been approached by numerous parties interested in purchasing the land. However, to date, none have materialized into a development. Just a few of the uses proposed were multifamily, hotel, inline retail, medical office, daycare, and a dispensary. Between the challenges of the village objecting to uses or the physical challenge with the narrow, deep site, we have been unsuccessful in realizing any development. We are quite confident there won't be any new office building taking place for a long time due to the dramatic shifts in hybrid work, as well as companies relocating out of state. We are proposing a 268 unit single story self-storage facility. There will be no management office on site. The development will be professionally managed and will have 24/7 access. The development will be well lighted and secured with video surveillance cameras. The site plan calls for 160 units to be climate controlled, and an additional 108 units are non-climate controlled. The unit mix in the climate control portion is 5 feet by 5 feet. There's 10 units being proposed. 5 feet by 10 feet, 12 units. 10 by 10, 66 units. 10 by 15, 66 units. And 10 by 26 units. The unit mix in the non-climate controlled portion is 10 by 10, 48 units. 10 by 15, 48 units. And 10 by 20, 12 units. The development will be self-service. Customers reserve their units online and are provided a barcode or numeric code to allow access to their unit. The development will be secured with the physical sections of the building along the north and south sides, along with a 6-foot steel black fence. Access is allowed in and out through a sliding gate. There is one entrance and one exit. Traffic flows in through the north entrance and exits on the south entrance. Stormwater is managed with an underground storm trap concrete vault system that is engineered to meet the county stormwater requirements. Water will be supplied from a new well located on the southwest corner of the site, and sanitary will be connected to the Flag Creek sanitary system. Gas and electric service will be provided via an underground service connection. Thank you for allowing me to present, and I'm open to answering any questions at this time. And I can address in detail each of the questions related to the variation or the zoning conditions.
Go right ahead.
Relative to variation, section 37-114.3 standards for variations, that there are practical difficulties or particular hardships in the way of carrying out the strict letter of the regulations of the zoning ordinance. Our point is the site is narrow and deep, has limited visibility to traffic as a result, and has a 20-foot wide water and electrical easement running east to west on the north portion of the site. This cuts down the ability to build nearly anything on the site, most of which were the items I mentioned earlier, the uses. Relative to the granting of any variation in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zoning ordinance, and it will not be injurious to the neighborhood, detrimental to the public welfare, or in conflict with the county's comprehensive plan for development. The proposed development meets with the intent of the ordinance, would not be detrimental to the neighborhood nor public welfare, and would not be in conflict with the county's comprehensive plan. That granting of the variation will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to the adjacent property, increase hazards from fire or other dangers, diminish the value of land and buildings throughout the county, unduly increase traffic, increase the potential for flood damages to adjacent properties, incur additional public expense for flood protection, rescue, or relief, or otherwise impair the public health, safety, comfort, morals, or general welfare of the inhabitants of DuPage County. The development will not impair the adequate supply of light and air to any adjacent property, will not increase the hazard from fire or other, will not diminish the value of land in the county, will not increase the potential for flood damages to the adjacent properties, will not incur any additional expense for flood protection, rescue, relief, or otherwise impair public health, safety, comfort, morals, or general welfare of the inhabitants of DuPage County. Rezoning relative to existing uses of property within the general area, the zoning classification within the general area, suitability of the property for uses permitted, the trend of development, length of time it's been vacant a zone, and extent to which the property values are diminished. We would respond that the area has seen a variety of recent development. The largest being that of multifamily and secondary to that retail. The area has not seen any office development for many years. The demand for secure, well-managed self-storage is very high due to the number of multifamily units in the area. The development will not diminish the value of any adjacent properties. And I apologize for the site plan confusion at the beginning. And I'm open to any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any questions. Mr. Keller, Mr. Schultz, Ms. Anderson, Mr. Moran, Mr. Murphy.
One second, can you use the microphone?
Yeah, here you go. Yeah.
You show a picture right here of it, right?
Of an example, yes, of a self-storage.
Then we show a picture here that is completely different. We don't know which one, which you're gonna put on the property.
Let me respond to that. The site plan shows us what is going on the property. This rendering is not particularly instructive as to what may or may not be built. And the other document that you indicated was inconsistent is not part of our record because it was not introduced as an exhibit. So why don't I go to public comment, sir, if you could just sit for a moment, and then do you gentlemen you were both sworn in, so whoever would like to go first? You indicated before we started that you wanted to make a comment.
Good evening. Good evening. For the record, my name is James McCall, MACHOLL. My address is 9501 West Devon in Rosemont, Illinois. I represent the Village of Oakwood Terrace. The Village of Oakwood Terrace passed a resolution number 22-14 back on October the 11th, just a couple of days ago. That resolution has been filed with the DuPage County Clerk's Office yesterday, October 12th, 2022. I had also sent a file stamped copy of that resolution to Mr. Cox yesterday. The resolution gets into a lot of specific detail, and I'm not going to repeat all of it. You have it before you. But basically, the basis for the city's protest, the city doesn't agree with the rezoning, doesn't agree with granting the conditional use for self-storage, or granting the 6 variances that the petitioners request. The rezoning is not compatible with the surrounding uses. The property is bounded by and is contiguous to the city of Oakwood Terrace. The property to the north and the south, those properties are professional office buildings. This property is the sole property on the west side of Summit between 14th and Butterfield Road, not located within the corporate limits of Oakwood Terrace. The property immediately to the south is a 3-story office building. To the north, with a low-rise professional office building. To the east, the property is used across the street as an office for Salvation Army. Again, the property is not consistent with the surrounding uses. It's also inconsistent with the city of Oakwood Terrace's comprehensive plan that calls it to be for office. And there's professional offices up and down Summit. I have, if you'd like, I have an aerial photo of the surrounding uses and the different uses that are located, I'd be happy to mark this as an exhibit. I can mark it Oak Brook Terrace or OBT exhibit number 1.
Perfect.
Circulated, if I may.
Yeah, thank you.
But I think the site is also consistent with the county's ordinance, it's suitable for the county's existing ordinance, which is the OHR office district. I've listened to the petitioner in his presentation and testimony that with respect to the variances, I didn't hear any facts. All I heard were conclusions and running down a laundry list of the different items necessary. It's the city of Oak Brook Terrace's position that granting these variances would be detrimental. It'd be detrimental to the property values of the surrounding properties. And as I've said before, I can repeat myself, but when you look at all the surrounding properties, office with the exception of multi-family, which is located on the one side. So I have nothing further at this point.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The next gentleman, please.
I think there's no need for me to testify. His testimony was sufficient. So
Do you want to identify yourself and say that you agree?
Good evening. My name is John Menz, Menze. I am the property manager for the Terrace Executive Center at 1S 376 Summit Avenue in Oak Brook Terrace. We're the adjoining property to the north. We likewise are a 65 by equal depth of the subject property. Long, narrow lot with a 38,000 square foot condominium zoned office complex built in 1980. Again, obviously the vacant land, they have a right to petition and to develop that land. And I understand their interest in some of the thoughts on redevelopment. But obviously the best interest in what I can see from the surrounding area, office appears to be the highest and best use in keeping with Oak Brook Terrace's master plan.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any concluding remarks? Save your clip.
I appreciate the testimony of the village attorney and also our neighboring property owner, manager. The only thing I can say is that being that we own a property adjacent to the property where we're proposing investing multiple millions of dollars, I find it interesting that the issue would be of improving the values or decreasing the values. Clearly, office at this moment could be for many, many years is not the highest and best use. I do appreciate the concerns of the village. However, if the village is interested in approving some of the other types of uses that have been in contract and presented to the village, we may not have been here tonight. The site does have its challenges. We have a 20-foot wide easement running through the property, which yours may not have. So, which cannot be developed, which leaves you 145 feet of land width to develop. I don't think there's any injury to the village or the county or the neighboring properties. It's self-storage is not something new. But we are just here tonight presenting something that we think could be of value. And we appreciate your reviewing it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We'll adjourn the public hearing this evening and reconvene for our recommendation meeting on November 2 at 5:30. That's a Wednesday night, remember, right in this room. That's an open discussion amongst the board, but public participation occurs at this meeting, the public hearing, and not at our voting session. So you can come to observe if you'd like. All right, thanks very much, everyone. We're closed.
So you can ask me what.
You want to what?
I was hoping. You can ask a question. Well,
Yeah, Oh, I thought you asked your questions earlier.
No, that's.
Huh?
I would like to ask questions.
Okay,
So I can, before I vote on that.
okay, we'll reopen the public hearing and reopen the questioning from the board.
So I'd like to know, why hasn't the village of Oakland Terrace, if you address this, purchased that property annex?
It's my understanding that the property is not completely surrounded. And therefore it would require a petition from the property owner to annex it to the city of Oakland Terrace.
You mentioned something about some uses, so I want to know about that, because we're looking for the best behind use for this property.
Really not looking.
No, we're not. The point is that we're approving variances. And I'd like to know that on that, because
As far as the annexation issue is concerned. I can't really speak to that, but I can tell you from what I know about it. Pardon me. There's a parcel or there's property across the street on Summit. That is also unincorporated DuPage County. And so. If there is a statute, if it were surrounded, would allow the city of Oakland Terrace to annex it involuntarily. But that's not possible because it's not completely surrounded.
I'm feeling some inconsistency here. It's saying the self-storage, they come before us all the time, the various places, so. And that's a big high use.
That's my answer relative to the annexation question.
Please.
We purchased the 3-story building next to this, adjacent to the south, about 5 years ago. So we've got a long history with the property. Now, we've only owned it for about 3. It was a single family home. That was all farmland at some point in time. It does not have city water. It does not have sanitary. It does not have storm. So there's a significant amount of investment that anybody's going to have to put in place. And as we are the owners of the property next to it, and we're also real estate investors, we understand and appreciate the challenges and even the objections that they have. But the key point for us in being able to market the property and hopefully develop it, we would love to have developed it to somebody, the daycare, multifamily, but the real challenge is you have a 20-foot wide easement and you're left with a very, very thin parcel with very tough access on the summit. It's just north of the stoplight and there's a lot of traffic. So the highest and best use, in our opinion, and we've been in this for over 12 years, my partner 25 years, is something that's very easy on the area. Something that doesn't have a lot of traffic. It doesn't have a lot of noise. And it's scaled where you really don't even see it. When you fly over a lot of these states in our country, they call them flyover states. When you drive by this site and you have a 3-story building and then the 1-story building, you turn left and you're past. So it's not a real objectionable elevation nor density. And I mean, it costs about $3 million to develop a site like this. Not that that's any of your concerns, but when we looked at from the investor's perspective, originally we wanted it for just extra parking for our office building. But I don't have to explain to everybody the office market, nor our neighbor. It's very challenging and there's really no end to that. So we're here hoping that the village would have, we've heard that they've tried to annex it. They've talked about it. but they've never approached us as the property owners who own a property next door where we've got 26 or 28 businesses occupying space in our office building.
And that's in the village of Oak Brook.
And that's in the village of Oak Brook Terrace. And to us, that's a little bit disheartening. Honestly, that they would object to this and not just say, hey, Kevin or Dave, we have an issue with this. Why don't you come over to Village Hall and talk about it? And so for me, as the applicant and the person explaining this, it's no surprise, but honestly, it's a surprise. That's not how we've done business or investment. And I don't think that's how Oak Brook Terrace wishes to do their business with the people who are investing money in the community. So this is like an option that we'd like to pursue in spite of all of the public comments that you've heard tonight. So that's what we're up against. Is a village who, quite honestly, would leave it vacant forever. But I think that they would prefer to see it developed. Even though it's not part of their community. We would love it to be a part of Oak Brook Terrace. But they have to allow us to do something that can be done on the site with its physical conditions. And it's very challenging. And I honestly don't think they know any of the challenges, and that's why we're here to present. Is to educate everyone involved, the county and the municipality, and even our neighbors, that we're willing to move forward with investing in the property, improving it, in spite of all of the objections and challenges. We think it can be done, and we're just asking for your support. And I apologize, I really do. I thought that the site plan would have been adequate, and clearly we can provide something that's easier to understand. So we can certainly do that if it's required. So.
Okay, I did actually, I guess I reopened the questioning from the board. So are there any other board members that want to ask questions? I don't see any. So once again, we'll close the hearing. Thank you very much. We're set. I think I announced the recommendation meeting November 2. So thank you very much.